Alright, yeah, so Comic-Con has released a bunch of movie trailers that I definitely have every intention of talking about, but I'm going to talk about this movie first because, frankly, I'm more excited to talk about those than I am about this, so I'd rather get this out of the way. The Equalizer 2 is the sequel to the surprisingly good movie The Equalizer with Denzel Washington that came out in, I want to say 2015? Okay, no, it was 2014. Just looked it up on my computer. But like I said, I enjoyed The Equalizer a lot more than I thought I would. I liked seeing Denzel Washington be the badass guy who just took out all these douchebags. I also liked seeing his character, how he's not necessarily someone who's just gonna go attack all the criminals that are out there. He's just gonna attack the ones that essentially did wrong to people he's encountered in his life. Because I guess maybe his mindset is, hey, I just ran into someone who had something really bad happen to them, so I guess it's now technically, in a way, kind of my business, so I gotta go take care of it. That being said, when I heard that a sequel for The Equalizer was being made, I didn't really think it would really be necessary. Because really, you look at the first Equalizer movie, there really doesn't need to be a sequel with that. It's a pretty simple premise. It's not really something you can necessarily build a franchise or a sequel off of. But you know, it was successful and you know, Hollywood just cares about money, so we have a sequel here. So in this movie, Denzel Washington has been living in the greatest city in the world, Boston, Massachusetts. Yep, I said that for obvious reasons. Say what you want to me. But you know, he's just been working as a Lyft driver. You know, he's driving a bunch of different people to wherever they need to go. And, you know, along the way, some of the passengers that he picks up, you know, they tell him a little bit of their story, what their lives have been through. And naturally, it's in these moments when he catches wind of what some people have been through, he feels the need to help them. Like, for example, he picked up this one old man who was a Holocaust survivor. He got separated from his sister, hasn't seen her in forever. There's this one mother that works at this library that he goes to, whose daughter got separated from her. So, along the way, he stopped the guy who had her and, you know, gave her back to her mother. And there's this other night, he picks up this girl who looks like she's either been sexually assaulted or just abused or whatever it was. You know, her stomach has to get pumped, so he brings her to the hospital. Then he goes back to the apartment where all these guys were, and he proceeds to, you know, kick all their asses like he would in the original Equalizer movie. Here's what I thought of all those little, I guess, I don't know, side stories if you want to call them that. Getting into what I like about these, it's great seeing Denzel be a badass again. It's great seeing him take out all these guys like they're nothing. But it's just a matter of two moves. The guy's literally incapacitated on the ground, just, you know, in serious pain. That part's really cool to see. The issue I do kind of have with these side stories is they're really just there for the sake of seeing Denzel just be a badass that he is. It didn't really provide a whole lot to the story itself. Like him reuniting the old man with his sister, or him bringing the daughter back to her mother, or, you know, him, you know, rescuing that girl from those guys. It's not like it really added a whole lot to the story necessarily, because for, I want to say ultimately the first half of the movie, that's essentially what it is, and it does kind of have you sitting there like, alright, is any of this going anywhere? I felt like if maybe they explored just a little bit on each of these things, like maybe delved into the backstory of what happened or anything like that, it would have at least given it a little more context. There's at one point this one young teenager named Miles that Denzel kind of befriends along the way. You know, the kid does some painting for a building that Denzel's working on. You know, Denzel gets to know him a little bit, gets to know, you know, what he wants to be. The kid wants to be an artist, but at the same time, he's kind of involved with the wrong people. At one point, Denzel sees he's trying to be in a gang because apparently this gang that he's affiliating with is apparently going after a rival gang that killed his younger brother. And Denzel shows up and, you know, he confronts Miles and he's like, dude, that's not the path you want to go on. You go on that path, it's gonna wind you up in prison or it's gonna kill you. You know, has like a pretty emotional moment with the kid. And what I didn't like, I like that scene, but what I didn't really like is I don't feel this character, Miles, was developed enough. I don't think it really focused on him enough. I feel like if it did a little more focus on Miles, maybe more of the criminal background he was kind of getting into, maybe more of the life that he was going into, I think it honestly could have made for a more compelling story for this movie. It could have probably maybe put Denzel in a position where he didn't want to necessarily be in. Like maybe at some point Miles was involved with this gang and they were doing some fucked up things to people, and you know, at one point Denzel feels, oh, I gotta stop this gang, I gotta stop them, and then he realizes Miles is involved with this gang and he's like, oh shit, now I can't really stop them because someone I care about is affiliated with them and I don't want to get him killed. Oh shit, now I'm conflicted, like, how do I go about this? Like, something like that, or even if he maybe, like, took Miles under his wing, you know, he showed him what he did, and, you know, trained him to be an Equalizer apprentice or something like that. I don't know. I mean, I like the character Miles. I just wish they'd done stuff differently with him. And that's really what the first half of the movie is. It's just a bunch of jumbled plots just thrown in together, and it just has you wondering for a while. It's like, is any of this going anywhere? But it is finally around the second half of the movie where the main plot, if you will, does finally kick in. Because around the halfway point of the movie, a close friend of Denzel's named Susan, she is attacked by these assassins and they kill her. So of course Denzel, he does some digging into this and he finds out that apparently these assassins were former people he worked with when he was involved in the military. Because apparently after he faked his death, it was something like that entire unit that he had worked with, they all got shut down, so now they've been forced to work as assassins, and it's in the middle of a neighborhood. Denzel just confronts all of them and he's like, alright, guess what, you can all come after me if you want to, but I'm gonna kill every single one of you. And then from here, the rest of the movie is basically, you know, these assassins and Denzel trying to kill the other before the other can kill them, which has a big action scene at the end in Denzel's hometown. There's a big hurricane going on, he's gonna officially kill these guys. I would say these fight scenes were actually pretty good, and I would say the way some of these guys died was actually kind of brutal. One of these assassins literally took a fucking harpoon into his head. I don't even think it was his head. Might have been his neck. Might have even been in his eye. I can't quite remember, but I just remember watching that in the movie. I was just like, oh shit, that looked like it fucking hurt. So, you know, Denzel fights these guys. He kills them all. The lead guy, if you want to call him that, he's able to put up somewhat of a fight with Denzel, but of course he eventually kills him too. And that being said, it's not that this fight wasn't entertaining, because it was. The problem is, it was very abrupt. Literally, the movie's going on for a while, then we get this big action scene, which is like, oh, okay, so this is where the movie's gonna wrap up. This will be the end of the movie. Okay. I guess it's just what the bummer of the movie is. I mean, just for such a long time, it's all building up to literally nothing. Then it finally establishes what the plot point is, and from here, you only have half a movie to really make said plot point take effect. And so, you know, when you have to throw everything into this one big action scene at the very end, it just feels messy. So all in all, The Equalizer 2, there really wasn't anything special about it. Denzel Washington did do a good job in this movie. I like seeing this badass character that he plays. I like seeing how he truly is the Equalizer. He's just trying to right the wrongs that people make. He like really shows, it's like, hey, he's a really good guy, just don't be an asshole. That character Miles, I actually really liked his character. I do wish they had done things a little bit differently with him. I mean, really, he's briefly involved in a gang, then Denzel talks him out of it. We'd find out he's an upcoming artist, or an aspiring artist, I should say. And then there's one scene, he's hiding in Denzel's house from the criminals. That's actually kind of an intense scene, but really, that's all his character really does. I mean, the actor who played him was doing a good job. I felt like they should have done more with him. I feel like it could have added a lot more to this movie. The movie takes so long to get going. For a while, you really have no idea exactly where the movie is going. It has all these little subplots for a while that they never really touch up on. The villains, I mean, they were just kind of there. They're not, you know, anything memorable. And then by the time the movie finally focuses up, it's about halfway through the movie, so you really just have halfway to actually tell a story. The action's enjoyable. It's nice seeing Denzel kick ass, but again, it's not the best action I've seen in a movie this year. In the end, the movie wasn't good, it wasn't bad, but was it necessary? Yeah, I don't really think so. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.